Cruisers keen to get back on the high seas. In fact, major cruise lines are taking bookings to sail in just 10 weeks, which might be a bit too soon.
Listen to the Fun You and book a Carnival cruise today.
Definitely excited about starting up again and can't wait.
Forget the bad memories.
The ships are so clean. No, I'm not afraid of catching it.
Future you will receive up to $900 of onboard spending money.
They're back.
Fingers crossed we can get on that ship.
Get your sunscreen ready. The first cruises are being sold to depart from this port and many others around the country in just 10 weeks. An exciting and busy time, you'd think, for cruise companies. So we went to the major players and asked them, how's it all going to happen, given this virus is still with us? And none of them wanted to talk to us about it. So if you're packing your bags right now, getting ready to go, you might want to stop.
Well, I think that's very optimistic.
There is no way that anyone can guarantee there isn't COVID on board.
But hold up, cruise companies are flogging their fleet for upcoming cruises. Book now, Melbourne Cup Cruise. Melbourne, first week of November. What about Fiji? Depart October. Around our southern borders, mid-October. Maybe New Zealand then. Norway had COVID under control, so they did a trial cruise only a few weeks ago, adhering to all the coronavirus protocols. And 41 passengers and crew caught the virus.
That's not a good start going back into cruising.
So are our cruise ship companies the most optimistic people on earth?
We're counting down.
We've got 3 more booked already.
Their eager passengers certainly are. Bob and Cheryl don't fear COVID on board.
No, I've got no fears, and I'm 75 soon and he's 76 soon, so no.
They're confident ships will be more sterile than a hospital theatre.
The ships are so clean and they're keeping everybody safe. No, I'm not afraid of catching it.
No,
not from off a ship anyway. Probably more likely here.
I would do anything to get back on a cruise ship.
So too Nicole, been on a dozen cruises and booked 3 this year. Unfortunately, her April one was cancelled because of, well, you know what.
It certainly was very disappointing.
So too the August one.
That was supposed to be last week. Sadly, that one didn't happen, so
But she has high hopes for Christmas.
fingers crossed, toes crossed.
Our tourism sector is ailing, and cruise companies more than most. For decades, they had given us affordable holidays that included everything you needed: accommodation, entertainment, sightseeing, and who could forget that food? But the very nature of cruising is intimate. How do you social distance in those small pools, those narrow corridors, and at the buffet?
I'm surprised to hear that they are advertising for passengers for cruises in October in Australia.
Yes, COVID is still with us, so how can we cruise? Says Ross Dowling, a professor of tourism at Edith Cowan University and chairman of Cruise Western Australia.
COVID's there, it's on ships and it's on aircraft too coming into Australia. So we can see that it's very important that no cruises are undertaken here in Australia.
Look, I'm hopeful for next year.
Melissa is counting on 2021. She was supposed to be sailing now.
That was the 80s cruise, so it was leaving Brisbane.
And like Bob and Cheryl and Nicole, she has confidence in the protocols cruise companies will put in place to keep them safe.
My only concern would be that the crew on board are checked thoroughly for COVID before we board.
So she paid a 50% deposit for a cruise early next year.
If we keep paying and the cruise line cancels, we get our money back.
24.
Yep, That's how many cruises this Gold Coast couple have been on. Still disappointed that a recent one was cancelled because of that C word.
We were supposed to do Ovation of the Seas and we missed it. It was cancelled because of COVID.
Not to worry, they've booked for December.
It's magic at Christmas on a cruise.
And it's not only the domestic cruise market enticing our wannabe passengers, this one for the Mediterranean. Bob and Cheryl like a foreign ship. The pair were on the cruise before COVID broke out on the Diamond Princess in Japan. They loved it.
When that comes up for sale again, we're going.
Speaking of the Diamond Princess,
I was asked to help with the quarantining of the crew of the Diamond Princess in Tokyo. Then I came back to Australia, and then I was involved in the police operation with the Ruby Princess.
Dr. John Parker consults the cruise industry on health issues. He is the author of a timely book on viruses, having worked on the Ebola epidemic in Africa, so he knows his stuff.
There's no way that anyone can guarantee that nobody can catch COVID when they're on board a ship.
No matter what screening is put in, he says.
But there is no 100% way of saying that somebody hasn't got COVID or isn't about to develop the symptoms of COVID. That is just the fine line that can't be that can't be guaranteed.
But hang on, there are no ships here to even sail in 10 weeks. Your favourite liners were banished from our shores and now lie in ports and at sea scattered around the globe, so it'll be a rush to get them home. The Ruby Princess is moored in Manila Bay in the Philippines. She has her onboard camera still running, and here's the view now from the bridge. Ovation of the Seas and Voyager of the Seas are, well, further out to sea. Off the coast of Malaysia are a number of ships, including Pacific Explorer, Celebrity Solstice, Carnival Spirit, Carnival Splendor, and Diamond Princess. And here's her bridge camera right now. While the Pacific Dawn is en route to the Suez Canal. And in the Caribbean, dozens of ships are moored, including our Carnival Legend.
I would suggest that most people won't want to cruise until there's a vaccine.
Even if the vaccine comes out, it's going to go on for more than a year. I can't see a vaccine having any real serious effect for at least 18 months, even if it was produced very quickly.
So without one, these experts believe no one should be thinking of cruising anytime soon.
We cannot open up cruising in Australia at all safely.
And if we don't find a cure and cruising is allowed at some point, it'll be very different.
I would warn anybody going cruising that it's not going to be the same experience as pre-COVID days. They aren't going to have the intimacy, the huge groups, the big conga lines, the pool parties.
So finally, would these two take a cruise right now?
I wouldn't, personally.
I would have second thoughts because I'm over 70.